All right, friends, we're going to get started. Welcome, everyone, to Feed the Hunger's first live webcast, and we hope you enjoy the next 45 minutes or so. I'm Scott Hahn, the COO of Feed the Hunger, and I'm joined by Joseph Williams, who is getting ready to complete his 15th year as CEO of our organization.
Hello, everyone. We know that a lot of people can't be a part of this call today, so we will be recording it, but it's a great way for us to connect with you, some of our closest friends and partners in this unique format. It's going to be a blessing to share with you some great things today.
Indeed. And so I'd also just like to thank you, our friends, for being a part of this, taking time out of your day to join us today. And our desire is to do this quarterly. And our next one is in February. And we plan on trying an evening time slot in February to see if that can accommodate more people being able to join live with this webcast. The format for today, we hope to spend about 45 minutes with you. We're going to start out hearing an update from Joseph, just a general ministry update. And then we're going to hear a special interview that we recorded with one of our dear partners from Haiti, Pastor Maxo Antoine, and you'll hear a great interview with him. And then finally, we're going to have some Q&A at the end, hopefully the last 10 minutes. And so we invite you that are joining us now to, on the bottom toolbar of your Zoom window, there's a Q&A tab. So if you hear something and it provokes a question, or if you just wanted to always ask Feed the Hunger a specific question and haven't had that opportunity yet, feel free to write your question down in that Q&A, and we'll come back to it at the end and answer as many as time will allow. So let's get right into hearing an update about the ministry. And the very first thing we want to do is show you a new video that we produced and released at the end of the summer. Many of you may have seen it already, but it is a great 90-second video that does a great job of an overview that shows you exactly what God is accomplishing through your prayers and through your giving. So let's watch this.
At Feed the Hunger, we know that every child dreams big, but to be successful, they need to break free from poverty. The problem is they lack the nutritional, spiritual, and educational resources they need, which leaves them feeling defeated. But every child is loved by God and deserves an opportunity to change their world. We have seen firsthand the desperate circumstances these children live in and the hopelessness they face apart from Christ. That's why we work with 42 strategic partners in 20 countries, including the US, to provide meals, Bibles, and school supplies to more than 13,000 kids on an ongoing basis. How do we do this? First, we use reliable partnerships to identify the most at-risk kids. Second, we provide urgently needed resources. And third, we invest in their long-term success. So give now or get involved so that kids aren't trapped in poverty and hopelessness. Instead, with full bellies, engaged minds, and the joy of Christ filling them with hope, these children are able to change their world.
All right, that video does a great job, we think, of telling the story of how God is using Feed the Hunger and using your giving and your support to change lives all around the world, and vulnerable children and other people in need. And the how God is doing that is very important, but also the who God is changing the lives, this individual lives that are impacted and changed is also extremely important. So Joseph, can you start out by sharing maybe a fresh story or two from the field?
Sure. One of the things we do before we have our quarterly board meeting is we share a couple stories of kids' lives who have been changed, because it kind of sets the mood and reminds us as we're getting to the details of finances and things like that of why we're doing what we're doing. And so we usually start with a couple of stories of kids, and I think we have some pictures to show you right quick as I explain what you're looking at. The pictures to your left is Pavitra. This is the mother in the picture with her two kids. and she lives in Sri Lanka. Her husband is a fisherman, and they live in a really simple community that we're all living in huts. And so this area is very susceptible not only to the monsoon flooding, but also to wild elephants and snakes. So you can imagine that that is a more challenging situation than we live in. And it's a blessing to help communities like this with food. And so in the upper picture, you can see both of her kids, the one that's in the front, and I believe the third child that's looking away in the picture are her two kids. And for the last 6 months now, these kids have been receiving these meal packets. And so it's usually often their only meal for the day. The husband is a fisherman and often doesn't bring enough in to feed the family. They actually only have one plate that they share as a family. And so to now be able to have these nutritious meals on a daily basis is going to hopefully change the trajectory of their life. And then on the right is Gideon, and he's in Kenya. He's at a longtime partner school of ours that we've been working with for over 20 years called Nairobi Language Institute. And we are not able to send food to this particular location, so we send funding for them to purchase food, but we also help these kids with Bibles of their own. And Gideon comes from a poor family where his father left 4 years ago and his mother doesn't have a job. But he is able to go to NLI every day, and recently got a Bible. And he was just saying recently that, his mother doesn't have much money to take care of him and his sister. So we just read the Bible and have faith in God. And that's the kind of simple faith that we don't have to exercise here in America, that we're just, when we don't have enough food, we're going to read our Bible and pray instead, and just trust that the Lord is going to provide in his way and his time. So it's a blessing to help families and kids like this on a daily basis.
Indeed. And, a lot of times, and we emphasize this from time to time at Feed the Hunger, we can communicate stats of how many Bibles we've distributed in a year, how many meals that we've packed in the course of a year, how many school supply through EduPack that we've given out in the course of the year. And even the video said over 13,000 children are being helped on a daily basis. But how important really are overall numbers in evaluating the effectiveness of ministry, Joseph?
Yeah, I think in America, we really get caught up in numbers, and to a degree, there's something to celebrate, but really, if you're doing the shotgun approach to outreach, where you're just handing out food randomly or handing out Bibles randomly or school supplies, you're lessening your impact. And so that's why we have targeted these specific 13,000 kids with these 3 items on a regular basis, so that we are changing their lives. We're sticking with them for the long term through most of their educational career. So you'll hear us talk about these kinds of numbers, but just know that there's quality behind the quantity. That's what our motivation is.
For sure. It's a joy to visit these children and see their change over a certain amount of years when we go back to the same places and see their progress through the program, and see really them grow not only physically but spiritually and in maturity, in their maturity. So that's exciting. Now, this is probably the most frequently asked question you get, especially when out and about in the community, because I've been with you when people come up and ask you this, like, what's the newest thing on the horizon for Feed the Hunger, Joseph?
Yeah, well, we're always listening out for what the Lord may have for us. And as far as our food is concerned, we're always looking at the possibility of a different kind of meal, because we feed a lot of these kids every day. You want to introduce some variety. And so we're always looking at that. But I've also been burdened for the last few years that we could do something else in large quantities to the qualities that we are helping. And so we've been working now for several months on designing a non-food packathon, where volunteers here in America can put something else together that's not food, but is as equally as needed. And so what we've come up with is called the Hygiene Boost Kit. I actually have the prototype here in front of me. It's going to be packaged just like you're at a food packathon with 4 ingredients, but instead of 4 food ingredients, we have 4 items of hygiene. So this includes a toothbrush, a bar of soap, washcloth, and Band-Aids. We did a lot of research on what could have the best impact. And we got a little demo card here. So, because some of these are very rural and poor situations, they may not actually know how to brush their teeth. They may not even know what a washcloth's for. They might think it's just a napkin, and they probably use it as a napkin as well too. So we're just trying to do some things that can make a difference in their short-term health, that we can actually give these out to these same kids and to other crisis situations, at least on a quarterly basis, because obviously these things go away, not as fast as the food, but pretty fast. And so we're excited about that. Be on the lookout for it. We hope to debut it starting early next year after we do a little bit more testing. But we're excited about helping with their physical health as well as all these other areas of food, Bibles, and school supplies.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know from just traveling that those items are hard to come by with the children that we're ministering to and helping on a regular basis. So it'll make a big difference in their lives as we're able to distribute those. So that is indeed exciting. A lot of people that are on this call have been friends of this ministry for a long time, and they go back even to having friendships and relationships with your parents, and your parents have played a vital role in the history of Feed the Hunger. Can you just maybe give a brief update on your parents' legacy, Pat and J.L. Williams, and what they've meant to this ministry over the years and even in recent times?
Yeah, sure. There are certainly some inner circle of friends members that are newer and aren't aware of the legacy that this ministry started 53 years ago by my parents. And the very, very short story is it started as an interracial scene group ministry and morphed over the decades into a cross-cultural mission organization. And so up until 3 months ago, my mom was on staff with us, still doing wonderful things, writing devotionals and books and meeting with a lot of our longtime supporters and partners. And she just recently retired and is doing great and living with my brother's family. And so that's a blessing. And my dad, it's hard to believe that it's been 5 years since his heaven going next month, but we continue to try to release some of his teachings. He has such a library, for those of you who heard him preach and sat through those hour-and-a-half sermons. We're blessed by those messages, and we're trying to condense those and not only get them into books, but also we would like to see my dad get published for real. We think there's a much larger audience that would benefit. I'm ashamed to say there's a lot of churches that don't preach the depth that my dad did, and we think that there is a wider audience of American Christians that would benefit. And so what we've done most recently is we've condensed his teachings on right thinking, because we think there's so much wrong thinking right now that we're going to be releasing this book called What Are You Thinking? A Guide to Right Thinking and Christian Meditation. There's a subject that you don't really hear about. What in the world is Christian meditation? We're giving this to all of our circle of friends. You should be getting it by the end of the month. But then we're going to turn around. We're going to try to get this published with a real publisher. And we hope that that's the beginning of many more books that we can release to the public, and just be blessed by my dad's teaching, because he was such a great preacher and teacher.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, the church and our country would be healthier as his teachings on this subject and many others get more widely circulated. So let's keep praying for that. That would be awesome. Obviously, the dominant thing for the past 2 years has been COVID. And can you just kind of briefly give an update for how we've navigated through COVID as a ministry and how maybe some of our partners overseas have had to do it as well?
Yeah, sure. Well, we immediately after the lockdown in North Carolina, which is the latter half of March of last year, we kind of immediately got our heads together and adapted to Packathon to be social distancing, to be as safe as possible, because obviously the need not only didn't go away when the pandemic started, it's only gotten bigger. So I'm very proud of the staff that we came up with a successful Packathon model. And I say successful because since the pandemic started, we've had over 32,000 volunteers pack with us with no known spread of the virus. Now, we're not naive enough to think that it didn't happen, but what that does prove is that we were certainly not a super spreader. We believe the Bible addresses the fact that we're supposed to be considerate of all people wherever they are on all kinds of issues, not just the pandemic and the masking, the vaccinating and all that. We want to do whatever it is to get the most people together to pack the most amount of food. And thankfully that has happened thanks to your support. And so we're so grateful for that continues. When it came to this summer, we switched to giving the host locations the option of how they would like the event to take place, how many precautions. But we also always try to honor the local ordinances in regards to those things, because we really do want people of all demographics to come together and pack so that we can get this food continue to moving. Because I think this year we're sending around 11 containers of food, and every container of food has 276,480 servings. Every serving counts, and that's the way we view ministry, is that every serving counts, every volunteer counts, and every child counts. And so it's been very hard for our partners as well to go through the pandemic. But like us, they found ways to continue in ministry. We're pleased to report, praise the Lord, that none of them got severely ill or died. Certainly they all know, just as we do, people who have fallen into both of those categories. But the work has somehow managed to go forward. And thanks also to your help, we've been able to give. Just as we got stimulus in this country to help us through the pandemic, we sent stimulus, thanks to your support, to our partners twice throughout this pandemic as well.
Yes, absolutely. And perhaps our partner that's had the roughest time recently is Pastor Maxo Antoine in Haiti. And it's not just because of the pandemic. If you've taken COVID out of the equation, it would still be really difficult in Haiti right now. And Pastor Maxo is our main Haitian pastor. He's our main point of contact there in Haiti, and he's in charge of all of our food distribution that goes on there. We are feeding over 5,000 children a day in Haiti. We've continued to get containers in throughout the pandemic, and all of the economic and social unrest there, the lawlessness that's there, and Haiti's made the news recently for not so good things. And we have an interview that we pre-recorded with Pastor Maxo, and it's with Maxo and our field director, Melinda Staples, and it's about a 12-minute interview. It's really rich and great. And so let's watch that right now.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Pastor Maxo.
It's my pleasure to meet with you.
It's good to see you. It's been such a long time, hasn't it?
Yes, it is, because I think maybe 2 years since you came down.
It's been a very long time, I know.
Very long time. Yeah.
Yeah, due to political unrest and then COVID, we've had to stop taking teams down to Haiti.
Yeah, it's really bad, and everywhere but Haiti, the unrest and the COVID and now the kidnapping stuff, it's really complicated. So really, even for us in Haiti, we can't really move freely.
Yes. Yes. Well, how is your family doing during all of this COVID and everything that's going on?
They are doing good. By the grace of God, we survive, but we are dealing with this kind of situation that we don't use to deal with, like insecurity. So you can't really move. Myself, I can't really move as usual. And my wife, we can just move from where I live to go downtown Pétionville, nowhere else. And now Pétionville is starting to be as the other part of the country. We just have 2 days really hot where the gangs are moving downtown Pétionville. So things are really difficult. So we keep praying and count on God, because He's the only one who gets a solution. We can do nothing.
That's right. And Pastor Maxo, I remember so many things have happened in Haiti, but I remember years ago, upon meeting you for the very first time, and we met at your church, and your church at that time was made of sticks and banana leaves covered it.
Yes.
You've been a partner with Feed the Hunger for almost 15 years.
Yes, it is.
What has happened since then, since we met under that fig leaf church with about 25 people there? What has happened since then?
Oh, God is doing great things there. From this little church with live in plastic top. Now we extend the church twice, so because it's crowded, and we have new buildings. We have Feed the Hunger help us to have a 2 metal building, and now we have 1 concrete building. Even this building is not finished yet, so I would like you to come to support to finish it. We don't do the stucco. We don't have the floor done, so we need your help. But God is really great with us. We have a big church, a lot of people. We have a school. We start with like 25 kids under the shade. Now we have buildings. We have classroom for each grade. And we start from kindergarten, primary, high school. This year we start with our last grade in high school. So, and it's really a blessing. And we have the trade school. We graduate a lot of young people. They learn and they start to live with what they learn from the training center. So I think God is really bless us, and we even situation in the country is not good, but everywhere we have our ministry, it's really working. I remember when we first started with Feed the Hunger, it was about Cité Soleil, Pasteur Plaisirius, and Africa, and about 5 places. Now we have close to 25 places that we feed. And we start with small amount of kids, 10 boxes of food to a place. Now we have places that we give 50 boxes, and we can give more if they want more. We have about 5,000 kids that we are feeding. So it's really a great blessing, and things are really moved since we met with Feed the Hunger.
Yes. Yes, I remember we were able to get a food container into Haiti before the 2010 earthquake. And so food was there on the ground. And from the very beginning, we saw you as just a tremendous leader, man of God. We knew that from the start. And so that's why we, partnered with you, that you've become the Feed the Hunger coordinator for all of Haiti, and have just done a tremendous work in reaching all of these all these children in orphan homes with food, on top of you're also preaching, you're pastor of several churches, you're the leader in evangelism in Haiti, of reaching so many pastors, training them for evangelism. You're doing so much. And yet you continue to support and lead Feed the Hunger on the ground. And we're just greatly blessed by that.
Yeah, I am blessed too, because of you, we move forward. In Haiti, food is not easy for people to get. And a lot of institutions, they have schools, but when you have food, that means you take care of the mind, and the people have something for their body. And we are so blessed to be partner with Feed the Hunger. And I think God put us together for a reason, because He surely know that we'll have need for that. This past month with the earthquakes, we sent at least 1 container of food in the south part of Haiti, and we're still sending, because some places they are really in need for food. Last week, I sent 100 boxes to Jeremy, because the pastor called me and said the main problem of the people, they don't have food, and it was raining all day long. So I feel the only thing I can do is to send some food to him. And we talk one day, and the same day send the truck to come to get their food, because they have need for that. So I think we are doing a good job and taking care of orphans and help kids to come to school. Last year, we start with the Edu Pack and give school supplies to kids, feed them, and give backpack to them. I think this is wonderful what we are doing, and we are praying that we can extend our program to other institutions.
Yes.
So I think because a lot of institutions, they come to me, but we are limitation, but we are praying that God will extend our territory so we can support more people with food and do what we can to help. Even the situation is difficult, but God usually chooses some people in the middle of the difficult situation, but He strengthens us so we can continue to work.
Mm-hmm. And you have a team that works under you because you can't
Yes.
do all of this every day.
No, I can't do all of this. Yeah, we have in the Valley of Hope, we have some people in charge for evangelizing. We keep working together in the school. We have a coordinator for kindergarten, one for primary, one for high school. We have somebody in the finance. We have somebody in the trade school. And the hospital, we have a doctor. He's the chief, and he has the nurse under his control. And we put somebody in each area, so we decrease the burden upon our shoulders. That's the reason why I can sit in my house and just talk to people and they do the job. So, and for the feeding program, we have Calypso, we have a bear, we have Elijah, but we have a team. I have driver. I can just write the number of food and give them the paper, and they will pick the food and distribute the food to the other places. I think this is how the job is more easy because we have people around us to support us. And in all the churches, we have 2 pastors and we have deacons to help moving with the program.
Mm-hmm. Well, I remember years ago, one of the things you shared with me is that you said, we need food. Food is very important. And I even came across an email written in 2008 saying, I want to feed the hunger, the same name that we are today. But you also said to me, you said food is good, but if they don't have the word of God, they are still being lost. And so you stressed to me the importance of getting the Bibles into the hands of each of the children.
Yes, that was a great project. So each year we pass Bibles to the kids, and right now we are waiting for the number of new kids coming. So anytime a new kids come, we have the number. I will send it to you, and we will know how much Bible we need to buy more. But I know you are ready to do so, and we are working. It was difficult to get the price for one Bible, so we can multiply it to have a number. So hopefully you will have it. But it's really a blessing in the kids because we teach Bible in the classroom also. It's like Bible is like math, is like science. We want the kids to learn verse, and we have a Bible teacher for them. We take that. It's very important for the school, and kids, they can get education, they can get food, but if we don't teach them the word of God, it will be difficult for them to have a good life. We think the word of God is the best, and we continue to provide them Bibles and have teachers to teach them.
Yes, amen. Thank you so much, Pastor. And thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule today to be with us and to give us a little idea of what's going on in Haiti and how we can pray for you and how we can give financially to help you. But God bless you and your work and your family. And
God bless you too. God bless all the members of feedthehunger, everybody who put hands, who participate in the package event, who give their funds, who send food. We keep praying for you, and God will keep blessing you, so you will keep continue to support Haiti because Haiti needs your help.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Pastor, and we need you.
Thank you, Melinda. It was my pleasure to speak with you.
All right. I hope you enjoyed that. I love Pastor Max. So I think back to when I first met him. probably in 2007 or 2008. And just he had, as Melinda indicated and he indicated, just a simple building. It was wooden sticks with bamboo thatched, or it was bamboo thatched building. And we held a church service under there. And to think there's now a big church building, there's 4 classroom buildings, there's a hospital clinic there, there's a cafeteria, a soccer field, and he's really holistically impacting that community. So it's just exciting. May God continue to give him favor and bless the work he's done. And it's hard. He's persevering and delivering our food in difficult circumstances. They're delivering food by ambulance. They're delivering food in school buses because of just the danger of being out and about in Haiti right now. So we praise God for Maxo and hope you enjoyed that interview. We're going to move now to a time of some Q&A. So as I mentioned at the beginning, if you look at the toolbar on the bottom of your Zoom, you're going to see on the right side a Q&A tab. So if you have a question that you'd like to hear a response and that we didn't cover earlier, or something that maybe Maxo said that you might want to hear more about, then just please submit that question, and we'll go through as many as we can. Joseph, I was thinking at the end, Maxo focused some time on Bibles and the impact it has and what he's doing in Haiti, and we didn't spend a lot of time of that at the beginning, but that is an important part of what Feed the Hunger does in spreading the word of God. Can you just talk a little bit about the importance of from our perspective of matching food and Bible distribution together?
Yeah, one of the things we like to share when we're at Packathons and encouraging the volunteers is there's an ancient saying, it's not in the Bible, but it sounds like it should be in the Bible, and that's that an empty stomach has no ears. We can't expect people to want to hear the life-changing message of the gospel if they're starving to death and we're right there in front of them and not doing anything about it. And that's why we have to pair God's word with literal food, with the spiritual food. And so that's what we're committed to doing. Now we've also added, obviously education, school supplies into the mix, and now also some of these hygiene things, so that we really are trying to help these 13,000 kids as holistically as possible for the long term, so that they're the generation that finally can, like countries like Haiti, that can finally turn their country around once and for all.
That's right. Here's a question that's come in. Are we considering expanding our mission to other places in the world?
Yeah, that's a challenge because Melinda, as director of field ministry, she's the one that takes all the requests that we get that pretty much come in on a weekly basis from people that are not currently partners with us in some corner of the world. It is an extremely careful process that we have to go through to vet these, because we can only help so many people. That's the problem, is that there are so many worthy ministries that do contact us. But once again, in order for us to do quality over quantity, we have to say no to some worthy things. Having said that, we do commit these to prayer. And, if the Lord says, take this a little further, or send this initial project funding to see how it goes, that happens. But it is just not an easy thing. Now, I will say that what you can be praying for us about is that I have had a heart now for several years, as well as the staff, for 2 areas of expansion in the U.S. in particular. And those areas are the border with Mexico. Regardless of where you are on the issue, that is an area that needs help. And secondly is the Native American population in America. We thought we had a breakthrough a few years ago that didn't quite pan out, but we would really like to do more in America in particular, and especially in those 2 areas.
Agreed. And also, we have what we think is everything lined up to expand into Cuba later this year with food. So we're excited about that, with our first container going into Cuba. Here's another great question. Actually, there's a couple coming in that are similarly themed, and that's with some of the current events in Haiti. The question is, what do we know of the situation with the kidnapped missionaries in Haiti? Is there anything that can be done to help them, along with just maybe speak generally, Joseph, about the danger overall in Haiti with the way the gangs have kind of taken over a lot of the certainly the transportation lanes and different cities, and what our partners are experiencing specifically with that.
Yeah, coincidentally, just before this Zoom, I was looking for an update on that team that had been kidnapped, the team of 17 missionaries. And to the best of the authorities' knowledge, at least the majority of them are still alive. For those of you not aware of the story, there's as young as 1 year old, this group of families from Christian Aid Alliance, I believe is what they're called, that are kidnapped, and still now 3 weeks later. So Haiti is an absolute mess, probably the worst I've seen it. And I've told people before, if it wasn't for us investing in the younger generation, I don't think we'd be in Haiti, because it's such a welfare state, and 99% of the country's natural resources are gone forever. But we want to raise up the generation that will change Haiti, and that's in the midst of gangs control almost, I think it's half or more of the country now, probably more. Their fear certainly grips the entire nation. And so I do think that perhaps, at least in the short term, Haiti needs some international intervention in order to get the people what they need. Because right now, the major crisis, as Melinda was just sharing with the staff, I think it was yesterday, is water. Water is very scarce right now, not to mention gas is almost non-existent. And when it's available, it's way more expensive than it is here.
That's right. And water is hard to come by, because in Haiti, they have their water delivered in trucks that look like our gasoline trucks, these big tanker trucks. So if they can't move around from spot to spot, then you're gonna the Haitians are just gonna have a hard time getting their drinking water. One more question, Joseph, is are we considering integrating a food packathon with a hygiene packathon?
Mm-hmm. So we definitely have talked about that as a staff. What we'd like to do first is do the hygiene boost kit packathon well, because we do think that there will be locations that want to do both, that want to do one or the other, kind of rotate, because some of these churches and schools and whatnot have been doing food now for several years. Some people are just great with that permanently, but I think there are some people that want some variety. So yes, we are looking at the possibility of a packathon doing both. Obviously, that means a little bit more complicated logistics with both batches of supplies going to a location, but we certainly are open to that. So basically, you can pray that in the next, let's say 2 to 4 months, we really get this down to a refined process, because the hygiene boost kit is supposed to be packed not only just in so many similar ways to the food packathon, from the way the tables are shaped, to the sealing, to the boxing, to the size of the bag. We really have tried to duplicate the food packathon so that we can do these things interchangeably and even in the same room together.
That's right. That's right. One last question, maybe. There's lots of challenges going on in right now, from inflation to the pandemic and all kinds of other issues. What do you think might be the biggest challenge for Feed the Hunger heading into 2022?
I'm not so much concerned about the biggest problem for Feed the Hunger as I am for the American church. I just heard my pastor share on Sunday that 11 churches in America are closing every single day. And when times are hard is when the church is supposed to rise up and stand apart and help anyone in need. And so I'm more concerned, while we certainly have a concerned eye about inflation, it's causing us to increase our meal price from 30 cents to higher. And we don't know where that's going to stop yet. But I'm more concerned about the American church being more outward focused. It's the ironic thing. In order for us to thrive, we shouldn't be passing the offering plate. We should be doing more outside of our doors. And so we need to pray that the church will do that. We'll focus on affecting the lives of our fellow Americans, sharing the gospel in the process. That's what I'm most concerned about for next year.
Yeah, that's a legitimate concern indeed. Well, we're going to begin to wrap things up here. I just want to express again our great thanks to those of you that have taken time out this afternoon and joined us. We hope you've found this informative and inspiring, and we just want to thank you, our inner circle of friends, for your prayers, your faithful giving, your generous giving that enables all of this to be possible. God takes your prayers and your giving, and He's changing lives. He's impacting hearts, and He's in affecting eternity for His glory and His name's sake. So thank you guys so much for being a part of that. We do want to make this, our desire is to make this a quarterly episode, so to speak, and we may change the format slightly from quarter to quarter, but we do want to have this opportunity where you guys can kind of get fresh updates of what's going on and what God is doing. And the next time we plan on doing this is in February, and we do want to try an evening time slot to see if it will allow for more people to join us live. But if you ever do miss one, we do also plan on sending out this video link afterwards that you can watch it at your convenience if you happen to miss it. So stay tuned for that February date and the exact time that we're going to do that. A couple announcements before maybe we bring it to an end. As many of you know, Jim Gurley was our longtime director of development here at Feed the Hungry. He's here with us for over 10 years and did a phenomenal job, and was at a lot of packing events. So I know a lot of people that are listening on the call today would know Jim. He recently retired from Feed the Hunger, and just the timing seems right now to replace his position. So we are actively looking for a new director of development here at Feed the Hunger. And in this role, it really is necessary to have at least a minimum of 5 years of fundraising development experience in a Christian nonprofit. So if anyone on this call listening knows of someone that may fit that role and be interested, please feel free to recommend them to us or us to them. And we would just be grateful for that and appreciative for that. Final thing we do before we bring it to a close is we have a brand new video that we're excited about that we want to show you. This was actually just the finishing touches were put on it just last week. So I don't think anyone that's listening on the call today has seen it yet, but it's a brand new Packathon video. Many of you know how instrumental the Packathon is to what we do at Feed the Hunger. And we view it not just as a means to get nutritious food produced to have ministry on the ground where Pastor Maxo is and other places around the world, but our Packathons are ministry here in the United States as families, as individuals come together and serve with their own hands and their own feet and put these meals together. It's a great ministry opportunity for them. So this video is meant to try to recruit other locations to pack food with us at Feed the Hunger. So this is 90 seconds as well, and take a look at this.
Are you looking for a Christ-centered, hands-on way to serve together and make an impact in the lives of vulnerable children? With limited time and resources, the problem can be finding a trusted way to accomplish this. Feed the Hunger has a simple, organized, and cost-effective way to feed hungry kids and those in crisis situations. We know the struggle of finding worthwhile activities to serve others and share the love of Christ with those in need. For over a decade, we've been all over the U.S. packing tens of millions of meals with people like you who want to help children of all faiths and backgrounds. You can work together to make a difference through a food packing event called a Packathon. And the best part is, Feed the Hunger brings it to your doorstep. Here's how it works. First, sponsor. We'll work with you to determine how many nutritious meals your group will fund and pack. Second, plan. We'll help you find the right location and give you tips on how to promote your Packathon. Third, pack. Assemble people of all ages for 2 hours of fun and fellowship. You'll package, weigh, seal, and box meals for a great cause. Don't delay. Pack life-changing meals and be the difference for children in the U.S. and around the world.
All right. So if anyone on the call has ever wondered, boy, I'd like to bring a Packathon to my church, this would be a great way to start in forwarding that to your church leadership and just seeing, hey, is this something our church can do? Because there's lots of churches that are and businesses and schools that are enjoying this opportunity around the nation. And particularly, as Joseph said earlier, during COVID, this is a great way to safely serve together and make a difference for Christ and for eternity. So, Joseph, we've made it to the 45-minute mark. We want to be respectful of everyone's time. So is there anything you want to say in closing to everyone?
Yeah, just another thank you to everyone. My dad used to always say, we're just the conduit for your ministry, and we wouldn't be here without you and your support, where we take what God has entrusted you and get it to these trusted partners who have decades of reliable, effective outreach for God's glory. And so thank you so much. I hope you've been blessed by this. I know a lot of folks told me they're going to be watching this after the fact, but we didn't reveal that yet because we wanted as many of you as possible to be joining with us live. So we do hope that you'll make that effort as we do the next one, but know that this resource will be available to you to watch at your leisure. So thank you so much.
Indeed. All right. Well, thanks everyone. And we love you guys and are blessed by your partnership. And we will see you next time in February. So stay tuned for that date. Bye-bye.